Give me a few reasons why you're not the best player in the world.
It's a tough question on the spot.
Honestly, I've been here since Thursday. I'm ready to get this thing started.
Just feel comfortable here at the preserve.
Take on this track.
Oh, boring.
There's not much OB, so it's you can kind of have, there's not too much punishment as far as off the tee goes. It's all about getting yourself putts and looks at the basket, and I'm good at that. For some reason, just feel a little bit less restricted. I mean, obviously out of bounds, there's like US DGC style courses. I can change my game plan if I have to, but yeah, I just feel more free to throw shots. You don't feel handcuffed like, hey, if I miss the shot up, my tournament could be over. You never know when you're gonna go out of bounds and have to go to a drop zone that you're really uncomfortable with. So there's not really that style out here. It's more just throw it, and wherever you land, you kind of got to scrap a shot from there.
You're not gonna see me my birdie or nothing. Tomorrow you're just gonna getting me like, God, she just lay up again. She just like play for par again. Like it's just gonna be like that. I wish I woke up one day and I throw 400 feet, but unfortunately, I only throw like 300 or 330, maybe between 1 or 3 or 4 down. A lot of hole, like, it's hard for me to get a birdie. If I need birdie, I need to make like a circle 2 putt, like jump big putt. I'm not come here to be scared of those, I come here for having fun and see what I can do. So.
Kale's always had the vision. He is, I think, what we would consider is Minnesota disc golf. And so that's always more or less his game and what he takes on. So when he's out there working on court, you should see his process. Like he's dialed in, he's chewing it up, trying to figure it out, what he wants to change. And then when he makes those changes, they're always, I feel like, bettering courses. So
hole 8, traditionally, it's been a par 5. Plays all along this long, narrow stretch of pond. And then it was elevated up to a green that was a sweet green. You're really close to hole 9, which is our pavilion hole, which is our huge spectating area. There's beverages, food out there, so we have a huge gathering of people. And where the green was placed, it was kind of tucked into these trees, and you couldn't see it from any of the main spectating areas, even though we were within about 150 yards of it. What we wanted to do is change that from a par 5 to a par 4, so we shortened it up, and we placed the basket right on water's edge. So now all the spectators who were kind of lining the fairway watching the old hole, and then everyone from the pavilion is able to see the entire hole, see the basket, see people putting out. So for spectating, it's wonderful. I think it plays really, really nice too. The basket's about 35 feet from water's edge. You got to throw a big drive, and then you got to really push the water's edge to get the birdie on that one. Probably going to play about a half stroke more difficult than the par 5 did. But I really like it. The spectators will enjoy it and be able to see a lot more now. We've been getting pretty good feedback on that from most players.
All right, we got hole 8 here. Pretty big water carry right off the tee. You can kind of decide where you want to land based on how much distance you can cut off. Play it out to the right. I just want to keep my disc here, and I'm not too obsessed with the birdie in this kind of headwind. This is a true testament of, do you trust your distance driver or not? That's all I gotta say.
Hole 10 is still a par 5, but what we did is we've messed around with different tee areas on that hole. First year we did the Preserve Championship, the basket was on the same side of Victoria's Creek as the tee. And so we kind of tweaked the tee area, and now the basket is on the same side again. So essentially you got a pinch point on your second shot where you can't just bomb over the creek. You got to throw into the bottleneck a little bit and kind of decide how far you want to go. And then the basket is kind of perched on a slope on essentially an island green. You obviously want to get close to the island to be able to attack it for birdie, but the closer you get, the tighter the OB gets. You have all the room in the world on your drive, which is part of why I love that hole. Spectators can kind of see everyone air out. But then, the big arms, you can get to within 200 feet of the island, but again, the OB just gets tighter up there. So I think a lot of people would probably be trying to play to about 300, 350, 370 to the green, and then kind of attack it from there. A little bit less risk, and you can still get the birdie, so I think that's what most people will be doing.
Out here, you have to go low. Like I said, there's no out of bounds, so people are going to be going low, so you got to get a lot of birdies, sprinkle in an eagle on 18 maybe. Yeah. And so, yeah, you're going to have to shoot 12, 13 under each round if you want to have a chance to win, and I definitely can do that. 12, 13 on average if there's no wind or rain. Yeah. But if you add that in there, you obviously take a couple strokes off of that. 8, 9, 10 under is a good round if it's rainy and windy.
Usually preserve when it's nice, like 35 can win, 32 can win. It plays very easy. I know my practice round yesterday, I went 11 under in the last 12 holes and didn't do anything crazy. Out here, it feels like if you get on a streak, it's pretty easy to keep it going. If you're good at throwing stock shots, you can play really good out here. It's just a lot of stock shots. And so nothing crazy, nothing too special. Usually up at the top, you see a lot of people tight. And that's the toughest part, is just when you have so many people in contention, anything can happen. You almost have to just catch hot for a couple of holes to be in the lead. If I could get myself to 30 under for the event, I'd be pretty happy. I think with the weather, that's going to give me a decent chance. Goal tomorrow is just not shoot myself out of it for round one. But if I am 3-4 back, you know, you can always have a hot round to make up for it, and anything can happen in the final round.
I think like this year, because I see a lot of people game, they can be like 10 or 11 down.
Yeah.
Or I feel like it's have to be 8 from 8 to 11 downs. 5 or 6 down is not good anymore in this course, especially when the lady can throw like 450 or 500 feet.
Yeah.
I feel like for that far you can throw, you should be able to birdie everything. And we have 18 hole. And I feel like hot round should be 11 or 10, yeah.
I'm so bad at predicting scores, honestly.
What are you going to shoot?
Hopefully, you know, 10, 11 every day. That'd be pretty sweet. I'd probably do it.
I mean, the FPO cash line just keeps climbing. You
Yeah.
have to be averaging like 950, 960 to get last cash.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be any different here. We've had several events where even doesn't make cash. And out here, I think that's going to stand like that's not going to work. You got to shoot under par to cash. That's my thought here with this field. With the weather, I'm going to say the winning score is like 26.
Beth at 69.
I just told myself, you just got to will this one in there. Whatever you have, just will it in there.
This man is unbelievable. This is what athletes live for. This is the moment.
I always seem sometimes in the rain to play better because I feel like, oh, you don't have to birdie now. And then I'm like, catch myself birdieing because I feel like I'm relaxed and there's no pressure. So we'll see.
As a player, you got to take what the conditions give you. Don't get too aggressive if it's too windy or wet, you know, when you have slippery boxes and slippery run-ups on the fairways and all that stuff. So, yeah, you know, experience definitely plays a factor when it comes to that, you know, the tougher conditions. And I feel like that's where I have a leg up. It definitely takes a certain mindset to fight through it because everyone's going to get frustrated and you're not going to be able to throw shots that you normally can throw. You're going to slip. You're going to have shots slip out of your hand. And so you just got to, obviously you're not thinking about it, but you know in the back of your head it might happen.
I'm not historically great in the rain, and so, you know, that's going to be a bit of a challenge for me. I think I'm just going to try to not bogey, especially when it gets rainy out. A lot of spots where you can just throw wherever you want. So if you're taking bogeys, you're going to be losing strokes to the field no matter what. And there's not too many like scary holes out here, really. It's kind of just like throw your second shot, get up and down. There's a couple holes, but not too many that I think of and I worry about.
Just trying to not let it frustrate me, because so much of disc golf is just a competition of who can stay the most calm when, you know, diversity hits. Recognizing that it's going to take a little bit longer, you need a little extra patience. There's going to be more backups. It's uncomfortable being in the rain, and just kind of accept that that's going to happen and try to do your best anyway.
Everybody probably should know by now, I play bad in the rain. My spirits went down, my putting, my driving. You know, golfer, it loud. My name is Squirrel, or you know, Squirrel live under the ground. Yeah, Squirrel don't like rain, you know what I'm saying? That's who I am. So we'll see. I'm not excited about rain, but I'll try my best to rip my spirit up high.
So I love rain. And obviously, if you have a perfect day to play in, you're a little more excited. But I think so many people have a negative attitude toward rain, and they get so upset about it that by going out being excited for the rain, I feel like I save 3 strokes on the field minimum. And I have a pretty solid routine. And when I walk up to something, unless something crazy happens, I know what I'm throwing. I have an idea. So I just keep that disc dry, walk up, and I don't have to stare at it for my 30 seconds before I throw. So my disc stays dry and I have good grip.
I think I did a long time ago is I've never used a birdie bag or any kind of chalk. And so when the conditions change, I don't have to rely on that.
When you dry off the disc, it gets like way too sticky, and then you use your chalk and then it gets too slick again. And then obviously you don't want to throw the wet disc. And so it's kind of like, it's tough to find that mix. And I fiddle a lot with my disc before I throw, just kind of trying to find the right grip I want. Like, especially like when I putt too, I like do this thing where I like spread the chalk on the front of the disc. Could just be like a routine thing. And when you can't do that, when you can't like line your putt up or line your drive up because there's raindrops falling on your hand, it's like, it's kind of hard to get into that like routine and that rhythm. And it feels like you just kind of don't really know where it's going. I definitely play a lot quicker in the rain. I just try to hide it under my shirt. And then when I'm ready, I just go up and throw. I try to like almost do like a mental routine where it's like in my head and I'm like imagining lining up a shot, but I'm not actually doing it. I set myself up for success while I'm on the tee pad, or, you know, when I'm, you know, maybe if I'm walking up to my lie, thinking about what my shot's going to be or what the wind's doing. That way I don't have to do too much when I get to my disc.
It's something obviously I'm striving for week in and week out, and I've been very close, you know, a lot of times this year. And so that, you know, that alone gives me confidence. Obviously I haven't got to cross that line to get the win. But it's something where I know where my game's at right now, and I feel really good with where it's at. It's like I said, I've gotten a lot of top fives and way too many second places this year. It's right there. I'm in position a lot of weeks, and that's what it takes. This day and age of the game, there's a lot of good players.
Give me a few reasons why you're not the best player in the world.
It's a tough question on the spot. Honestly, it feels like it's pretty close right now. I mean, I think I have a good case for being the best player in the world. If I get another win or play solid a couple more tournaments, I think that'll kind of cement it, at least for like this part of the tour. Obviously, when you look at the entire year, we still have half the year left, so a lot of tournaments left. But like this part of the season, I'm feeling like I'm definitely up there. I know AB's kind of had a rough stretch these last couple events, kind of been tailing off a little bit. He got a bad finish at Portland. I talked to him about it, and I mean, the round just like got away from him. It wasn't like he did anything like stupid or anything. It just a couple bad shots and just almost, he said it felt like he just found every OB he could. So, I mean, I think he's still trying. Sometimes that's how it goes. You just get a rough stretch, and disc golf, it can almost feel like these birdies are just like a miracle to happen. And I've been there a lot of times, actually, especially last year when I was kind of up and down. It's a tough feeling. It's tough because it puts a lot of pressure on the next event, because you like almost feel like you need to perform to kind of make up for like your bad performance the last weekend. And you might play bad again, and it kind of just weighs on you. When you haven't had a win, there's not a ton of expectations to win, so it's easy to get a couple, I feel like, and then you almost expect yourself to win. And then that's kind of a bad mindset I got myself in last year, was like, I'm able to win, so I should win every week. And when I wasn't in the lead after the first round, I'd kind of panic, and it would kind of ruin my tournament. This year, I've been doing a good job of realizing, at the end of round 3, if I just play solid, I should end up on top or close to the top. And so I've been just playing really smooth and not thinking too much about what happens in round 1. And I think that could be something he might be struggling with. I'm sure he'll bounce back. This is a great course for AB to play good at. I know he's played good here in the past a little bit, so I expect to see him definitely close to the top. I know this tournament's missing a couple players. I believe Calvin is here, Eagle's not here, and so I think it gives me a good opportunity to maybe get a 3rd win in a row. Obviously, it's never easy on the Pro Tour. Anyone can pop off.
This property, I've never been here without seeing like a bald eagle and wildlife, and it's just like this little slice of heaven that you wouldn't expect to find when you're like driving up the highway.